Bye. All right.
We're starting.
We're starting?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, okay.
Hello, podcast. Hello, Lizzie.
Hi.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited.
Me too.
What are we talking about today?
A whole bunch of things.
Okay, so let's split it up into the 3 topics like usual.
3 topics.
First topic is we've got chronic illness.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to talk about that.
Yeah, me too.
Second one is, the chronic illness goes with like health and mindset and what can you do to deal with that chronic illness. The second topic is like family and the importance of family and connections. And the third topic was serving.
Yes.
Was that it?
Yeah.
Serving.
And working in service.
Yeah, working in the service industry.
Yeah.
Okay. What topic do you want to start with?
Let's do chronic illness.
Let's get the heavy stuff.
I feel like it'll lead into the other ones.
I feel like it will too.
Or it won't, and we'll go somewhere else.
Go with the flow.
Yeah.
Cool.
So did you start anywhere?
I mean, chronic illness in particular, we're talking about your type 1 diabetes.
Type 1 diabetes, yeah, that's me.
That must be so hard.
Well, I don't want to say hard because it is something that I live with every day, and I've lived with it since I was 3. Generally, it is a diagnosis that you get when you are younger, but there are people who get it later in life. So I was diagnosed when I was 3. Also, I come from an exceptional family where my mom's diabetic, my brother's diabetic, and my uncle... Can I tell you a story?
Of course.
Okay, so my parents actually met because of diabetes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So there are some good things
There's
that come
some
from
good things. Yeah, so they met at a summer camp for diabetic kids.
Oh, my
Camp
God.
Caruanas, shout out.
What's it called?
Camp Caruanas.
Caruanas.
Yeah. If you want to donate for your taxes or something, donate to Camp Caruanas.
Okay.
They're great. And yeah, it's the camp that primarily takes in type 1 diabetic kids and lets them, live a normal camp experience for 2 to 6 weeks out of the year, out of the summer. And so my mom and dad worked there, or my mom went there as a camper from the age of 7 to 15.
Oh,
and
wow.
then after finishing being a camper, she became staff. And my dad's brother is also diabetic, so my Uncle John did the same trajectory.
Yeah,
we got there. I'm gonna calm down eventually, and this will be better. Same trajectory, and at a different time though. So then, when he was older and was becoming staff, my dad came back as waterfront director. Just as to work there, and my mom was working there at the same time, and they met and fell in love and had 2 kids, but that was the closest they were for their whole lives, so that was great.
That's amazing that you can you have this insane illness and you have 2 people that came together because of it.
Yeah, exactly. And
it's like finding the light in the dark,
It is, and it's that was one of the things that I always loved so much about camp was you had so many people who had the exact same issue as you. Like, you all have diabetes. You all have this one common denominator that outside of this setting, you're really like the only person with it. Like, I'm very much an exception. Like, it's amazing that I have the amount of people in my life, in my direct life, who have the same illness as me. And a lot of people are very alone and don't have that.
Yes.
So to have this surrounding you and to have it brings people together, and people from all walks of life. Like, it doesn't matter who you are outside of camp. When you get to camp, there's just this communal sense of belonging, which is just so nice. Which as somebody who lives with diabetes on a regular basis, and as I said before, like, it's not hard, but it can be really difficult because you don't have that support system all the time, and you don't have people who understand you, and you don't have people who can relate to that. And I remember because we've known each other since elementary school. Yeah. I remember in elementary school, you pricking your finger and watching you test your blood. Yeah. Like, so you'd have blood on your finger. You'd put little sort of what do you call them? Like little strips onto your finger. You'd test your blood. To us, it was so fascinating. But I remember feeling so guilty and so bad for you because I was like, oh my God, she has to do this every single day. It's not something that we could ever understand. But then also,
it was cool. It was like, whoa, can we test our blood?
Yeah.
I remember
everybody wanted to do it.
Always.
Always.
But it's something that you can't make light of like that. But when you're younger, you don't think that like you're making light of it. You're just like,
whoa. And I don't mind. Like, I have friends now who, you know, freak out and think they have diabetes and stuff, and they ask me if they can do my test. Yeah, exactly.
Before we started the podcast, I was like, Lizzie, I have tingling in my toes after I eat a lot of carbs. Do you think I have diabetes? And what did you call me? The normal diabetes.
The normals.
The normals.
Yeah, so you get your NDs and your normals.
Okay.
No. That's wrong. You would be an ND, so a non-diabetic.
Oh,
and
okay.
I would be a diabetic. So it's like
Okay.
The nons and the
nons and the those.
The those. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm normal. Like, I don't see myself as different in any way. And that's the thing.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, getting out of camp, do you feel now when you're out of camp that you don't have that sense of belonging? If you feel normal?
No, because I've also like surrounded myself with a friend group that accepts me for who I am and what I do for the most part. Shout out to my friends. I love you guys. You know, and they love all my different idiosyncrasies and everything. But what am I saying?
Diabetes and belonging.
Yeah. And it's something that I've dealt with for such a long time that it's like a part of my everyday. Like, I don't know what it's like to live without it. I sometimes I wake up in the morning and, you know, I'll have a high blood sugar, or I'll go to sushi like I did today, and I'll just be like out of whack for the rest of the day.
What is out of whack? What does that feel like?
My blood sugar will be like super high, and then it'll be super low. So like I'll feel really gross. Like I was saying, like my mouth will get like super dry. I'll start feeling like lethargic. I won't have the same kind of energy that I generally do.
Because you have highs?
Because I have highs, or like I'll take too much insulin, or I'll be doing exercise and not be eating properly or something, and I'll start going low, and then like it just makes things a little bit difficult to do. And there are definitely like, and it sort of depends on me. Like right now I'm at like a good place with my diabetes, but there have been moments in the near past where I was just like, you know, fuck this. Fuck this. I hate this. Like, why was this dealt to me? Like, why do I have to deal with this? Why do I have to do this? And it's a super like slippery slope, downward spiral. As soon as you get into that mentality, that mindset, you take
everything for granted.
Yeah.
You're like, why the fuck is this my problem?
Yeah.
Why am I dealing with this? Yeah.
And it happens a lot, like when I have to go and pay for my medication. Like in Quebec is good. It's about 88% that's covered, but I still had to spend $96 the last time I bought my insulin. And it like,
how long does that last for?
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
2 to 3
Every
weeks.
Every 2 weeks you spend $100.
Yeah. But it limits out. Like it cuts out. Like if I spend more than 80% or whatever, I don't know the exact number, the next purchase will be free. But like I can still see like the bill, and like my Lantus, for example, is like $150. My Humalog is $80. Like if I was paying full price for it, and my strips, it's $1 per strip, so they come in like packages of 100. Yeah, so it's so expensive, and for somebody who would literally die if I didn't have this, it can be so frustrating, and I just, you know, get angry at the world. Yeah. But the thing is like I could be living in the States where literally people are dying on a daily basis because they can't afford this, and also like their pharmaceutical companies are just like super whack, and things just cost so much. It's inaccessible, and it's awful. So I'm so lucky to live where I do. To live in Canada, to have the support system I have, also like the doctors that I have around me for basically free. Yeah. It's amazing. Like I'm so fortunate, and I'm so lucky, and I just got to remind myself that in times when it does get hard.
I also think that you need to give yourself permission to feel okay about the cards that you were dealt.
Exactly.
Like it's okay to feel that frustration, you know?
100%. Yeah. And it is super frustrating, and it's hard. It's nice to hear that, to you know, to think about you're allowed to be upset. And
you're allowed to be frustrated.
Upset. Yeah, 100%. And you know, it's not a bad thing to take care of yourself. It's a super, super good thing.
What do the highs feel like?
Like high blood sugars?
When you're like going through a high moment in your in your diabetic experience?
Like high blood sugar, or like
yeah,
a good.
Because I'm not sure what it means.
Okay, so like high blood sugar. So I try to keep. There's a range that you try to keep your blood sugar within. Like as a non-diabetic, you would probably be between like 3.5 and 6.
Okay.
You know, you'd probably be around 4, honestly, like
okay.
4.5. And that's what your body keeps your blood sugar at constantly. But for me, I don't produce insulin in my body. Insulin's a hormone that regulates your blood sugar, and it kind of works as like a gatekeeper to your cells. So what insulin does is it allows your cells to accept the sugar that you get from eating carbohydrates. Mm-hmm. Sorry, this is getting like a little...
No, it's scientific, but still.
Yeah. So when you eat carbohydrates, your body breaks it down into sugar, okay. And then it goes into your bloodstream, and insulin allows this sugar to be accepted into your cells so that you can have energy. Okay. Basically. So for me, my pancreas doesn't work. My pancreas, which is what produces the insulin. Okay. For some reason, it's an autoimmune disorder, so it's my immune system that attacked the insulin cells and sees insulin as like a bad thing. For some reason, there was some switch. Okay. So it's attacked insulin and made it impossible for my body to make insulin cells. So when I eat anything that's sugar, that's carbohydrates, so like
anything, bread.
Yeah, anything that's not protein or fat.
Rice. Even.
And even like the thing with protein and fat is like if you eat more than, I mean, like you count macros and stuff. Yeah. Right? So like if you eat more than a certain amount of protein, your body will start converting the excess protein as carbohydrates.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then it will break it down into sugar.
That's
and
crazy.
Then also your liver holds stores of sugar.
Of glucose.
Glucose, exactly. and it will release, like if you're asleep. So when you sleep for 8 hours, obviously you're not eating when you're asleep. So at a certain point in the night, usually at hour 5 or 6, your liver will start releasing sugar so that you don't die while you're sleeping, to keep your energy up. So for me, it does that also, but then there's no insulin to sort of like counteract that. And there's also because there's no insulin, your cells keep asking for sugar. So your liver keeps secreting sugar. So then my blood sugar, like sometimes I'll wake up in the morning, and this is like an issue that I'm trying to deal with now because I'm just trying to like level out. There's different types of insulins that you use to sort of figure this out. Yeah. I'm not going to get into it because it's a lot. Like I've been diabetic for over 20 years and I'm still figuring it out kind of thing. So like, it's a lot for an hour podcast.
Yeah, of course.
But you know, sometimes I'll wake up and my blood sugar will be really high because I've had like this dawn effect that they call, where the liver is secreting sugar and your blood sugar goes up.
And I guess what I'm asking is, what is the feeling of
that high blood
high?
Sugar? It's awful. Like it sucks so hard. It's like, so I like what I said before.
The sandy mouth.
The sandy mouth. So you're in a desert. Picture it's like you've got no one around you. You ran out of water 3 days ago, and you're just trying to find something, and then like you land on a mirage, and you start eating sand because you think it's water, and that's what your mouth feels like. It's like, you know, when you do a presentation at school
and you're nervous as fuck.
Yeah. and you start talking and you realize that you've been talking nonstop for like 10 minutes and your mouth is like, yeah, that's a horrible sound. But it's like that. It's like that times a million. Oh. And also like on top of that, you have like I sometimes get pounding headaches. I get massive lethargy and just awful. I just feel so terrible, and it's.
What about the lows? How do you feel when you have low blood sugar?
You have low blood sugars? Not good either. So I see spots. I get super shaky. I get really dizzy. I stop being able to understand things. I'm not able to like focus on anything, and like I can't process things. I can't. So like something will come into my head and it'll like leave as like a jumbled mess. It's like when you put your earphones in your pocket and then they come. Wow. If you're not wearing AirPods. AirPods. Yeah. And it's just like a disgusting mess of whatever. Yeah. That's what my brain does when I'm low.
And when you're perfect, you feel you're normal.
I feel normal. Yeah, I feel good. One way that I kind of like to describe it it's like driving manual or automatic.
Okay.
So like you're driving an automatic. You know, your body does
Coasting.
everything for you.
Yeah.
It changes gears when you need and everything. For me, I just need to pay a little bit more attention.
Okay.
And I need to switch the gear myself, and I need to, you know, be aware that
things are not
I'm
working.
going up a hill, so I need
Yeah.
to go into second or whatever. Yeah.
Oh.
So that's...
What would you tell to someone who's like struggling with managing their diabetes?
It sucks, but you're going to be okay. Keep trying. Try to put it first. Try to, you know, even if it's not always like, try to get one blood sugar right. Try to get like, I do 4 tests a day. Well, I do many tests a day, but I do like 4 always.
Okay.
So I like, when I wake up, I do my, at lunchtime, I do at 4 o'clock, and I do before I go to bed.
Okay.
And then I'll sort of like do blood sugars depending on like what I'm eating and when I'm eating.
And is there ever a day that goes by that you don't test because you're like, no, today I don't want to deal with it. I'm not going to test today.
No.
Because you have to.
I have to. And what I do is I have alarms set on my phone, because if I don't, I forget, because it's hard, you know, like I do a million things over the course of my day, and like I don't have an inner clock that tells me it's 4 o'clock that I need to like prick my finger and make myself bleed. Like
you're cutting yourself every four times a day. That's
I got like all these calluses all over my fingers.
Oh my God.
Yeah. My nails are gross. But so I set myself alarms, and that's something that's really helped me. So if you need help with that, like, set alarms, honestly.
And if someone like just found out that they have this and they're so upset, like,
it gets better.
It gets better.
It gets better. This is gonna sound so pessimistic. It never gets good. It never gets good, but it gets better, and you do learn a lot about yourself from it. You have the opportunity to become way more self-aware, in every sense of the word. Like, you need to be so in tune with your bodily functions. Like, am I low? Am I high? Some people don't feel their highs and lows either. Like, especially when you're newly diagnosed, you don't know what it's like. So you become so much more in tune with yourself physically, that you also become in tune with yourself mentally. Like, you just need to know where you're at all times.
Okay.
And that's kind of a blessing. It's a blessing in the curse, you know. There's not many people, and also, like, I know so much about diet and nutrition that I'm always flabbergasted when people don't know this stuff, because for me it's second nature, because I need to know everything that's going into my body at all times.
And I don't think that that's just because you have like a chronic illness that you should know. I feel like everybody should know what's going in your body.
Exactly. And that's, like, for me, it's kind of frustrating sometimes, because I'm like, God damn, I would love to just eat an apple and not have to think about it. Well, I can eat an apple,
but you have to think about.
I need to give myself 3 units of insulin if I'm gonna eat an apple, because it's carbohydrate, because it's glucose, it's sugar. So that's something that will spike your blood sugar. It's something that gives you energy. So, like, it's not bad. Like, and people always say, like, oh, sugar's bad for diabetics. No, sugar's bad if you have too much of it.
Yes.
Sugar's bad if you have the wrong types of sugar. Like I can eat candy. Just because I'm a diabetic, it doesn't mean that I can't eat candy. I can eat whatever I want.
Just don't sit down and have a huge bag of Skittles.
Exactly. And I could. If I wanted to, I could. Okay. I just need to take the insulin for it.
Okay.
Yeah. And something, I've actually been doing a lot of research recently about what I can and can't eat. And something that I've noticed is I can't drink coffee. I can drink coffee, but I need to pay attention to it in terms of my caffeine. Because caffeine stimulates the production of certain hormones that cause your liver to secrete sugar.
Which hormones?
I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
There's a C1. It's really difficult actually, like, looking things up about diabetes, because it's all about type 2. Yeah. And type 2 and type 1 are completely different diseases. Yeah. So it's super frustrating for me to try and, like, research. So I'll spend literally hours trying to find one fact.
But that's important too, doing your research.
Yeah, do your research.
Making sure you're doing the right research.
Yeah, 100%. It's
and, like, it just comes from knowing your body too, and doing, like, also dealing with this over the years. You'll kind of, like, compile your own research.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Oh, for sure.
I feel like you have to be your own doctor today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So
and also just like if you're living with it it's not like you got a cold once a month or like once a year and you go to the doctor and they give you antibiotics. Like, no, I live with this like literally every single day, every single minute, every single second of my life. It's not something that's going away. It's not something that it's a life sentence, you know.
Is it a life sentence?
Yeah.
Well, do you have like a shorter lifespan?
Well, yes,
Really?
but I'll still live to like I can live to like 85 or 95 or
Okay, so you
like,
don't have a shorter lifespan.
No, but diabetics do generally tend to die younger just because there are complications, there are different things. Also, like it depends on your control.
Okay.
Yeah, everything depends on control. If you're not in good control, your organs do start shutting down.
Okay.
Liver failure, kidney failure, etc., etc.
So just know yourself.
Know yourself, and that's one of the awful. I never like talking about that because, especially with new diabetics, because you're told that by so many people. Like, if you don't take care of yourself, you're gonna have your feet cut off. If you don't take care of yourself, your liver's gonna fail, and it's such an awful way to teach somebody about anything. So I don't really like bringing those aspects up, like,
because it doesn't help anyone.
It doesn't help anyone. It's
just like it's a warning.
Yeah.
It's like a threat.
Exactly. And the way that I prefer to talk about it is, if you take care of yourself, you're gonna feel better. That's all that you need.
You're like spinning a positive on it.
Exactly. And if I die when I'm 75, like, I'm gonna have lived 75 years. I'm not gonna have struggled with an illness for 75 years. You know, and I think that's what's important. It's while it is something that comes first in my life, it's coming first, but it's always second. Like, my life is first.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
And so your brother, this is like a segue to family.
Yeah.
Your brother and your mom, like, they deal with this too.
Yeah.
So it kind of brings you together.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's always been, I mean, yes and no. Like, the way that I treat my diabetes is very different from the way that my mom treats and the way that my brother treats.
Okay.
We all kind of have our, our different approaches, as every diabetic does. And like when I was working at the camp that I was talking about, it was in sort of a more modern time, where there was a lot more research and development on diabetes treatment.
Okay.
So I got to learn about a lot of that stuff, and I got to learn a lot about myself in the same way. And my mom and Ivan didn't have the same resources that I did.
Okay.
So, not to say that their resources are wrong. It's just they have a different treatment than what I do. Also, like, my lifestyle is different from theirs. Like, you've got to do like a lot of different things. Like, I do a lot of like high intensity interval training.
Ooh, yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Like what? Like CrossFit?
Sort of. No, I actually go to a CrossFit gym. CrossFit Waverly. Shout
No
out.
way.
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
That's really cool.
I love them. It's
So do you go often or do you go like sporadically?
I go often. I go like right now with my schedule I can only do like 2-3 times a week, but like I love when I can go like 5 or 6.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And I miss it. I mean, it's kind of like my my mental health drug, cuz it's healthy and it's good and it's great, and I just love it.
Is it difficult though with your diabetes to train?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Because this is something that I had no idea about before I started training. So like low intensity training, you do
just like running on the treadmill for like 40 minutes.
Running on the treadmill at like a slower pace, or like light soccer, or you know, just like basic activity will actually like lower your blood sugar. But high intensity interval training, your liver steps in again. Your liver is kind of like the diabetic's worst enemy. Because when you're doing this high intensity, your muscles and your body needs more energy.
Yes.
So your liver's like, sugar, yes, and it's just like, sorry, it's gonna be really loud. It like secretes all of this extra sugar, and in a regular person, your body's insulin would be produced, and then it would like be let into your blood sugar. Yeah. But for me, my body doesn't produce insulin.
Okay.
So I was finding myself, and I would usually have like a snack or something beforehand because I didn't want to go low in these trainings, because I'd always been told that if I do exercise, I should always have like orange juice with me or some kind of like sugar with me, because like you don't want to go low. Okay. And that's like the big thing about treatment of diabetes, is like you don't want to go low because it is quite dangerous. You can die from low blood sugar.
Oh wow.
You can die in the long term from a high blood sugar. Like high blood sugar over the long term is more dangerous, but low blood sugar short term is dangerous, because you can go to a coma, you can convulse, you can die.
Wow.
So when you're with doctors, especially when you're younger, which is when the majority of my treatment was happening, like now I'm a little bit more, I'm a lot more autonomous. Like I don't go to the doctor every 3 months. I should go to the doctor every 3 months. I don't. So, but I'm aware of myself. So,
okay.
Yeah. Anyway, but so they always say like have sugar with you
while you're training,
because you don't want to go low.
Okay.
So I would always have like, I'd have a snack beforehand. I'd have like a granola bar or whatever, and I wouldn't take insulin for it because I'd be like, no, I'm going to go low during my training. And then I'd always finish my workouts and my blood sugars would be outrageous. I'd be at like 23, 24. And like, I like it when I'm below 8.
Is that like, high, 23?
Oh, yeah. It's it's off the charts kind of thing. And I was like, why is this happening? Like I literally had like 15 grams of carbohydrate beforehand. Like this should not be making me be like 25.6. What the hell is going on? And I started doing research, and so like when your liver secretes all this sugar, and so your bloodstream is getting pumped full of sugar, and it's not going to my muscles into my body, so it's not helping me, and it's just making me really high, and it's making me less productive because I can't obviously, like if you're high, your lethargy is like a huge side effect. Yeah. So like I wasn't performing properly, and I wasn't doing all that stuff, and I was like, why? So I started doing all this training. I started following this guy who has diabetes and does like weight training and stuff. And that's the reason that I take insulin now at 4:00. I take like a basal insulin, which is like the underlying. It's like if I didn't eat anything, this is the insulin that's in my system that will keep me at like 6.2 kind of thing. Which is a happy level for me. And so I started taking it at 4 because generally I work out between like 7 and 9. Okay. So if I do it at 4, the insulin starts sort of working 2 to 4 hours after I've taken it. So if I'm doing my workout 2 to 4 hours after I've taken my insulin, then my blood sugars stay more normal. I still go up a bit, but I'm at like 9 instead of 25. So and
your trainings, they feel good.
And my trainings feel so much better.
And you're feeling like you're making progress?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's huge.
It's huge, and it was such a relief when I found it out, because I was like, what is wrong with me? Yeah. What is going on, and why is this happening? And
it was just a matter of taking it earlier.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah. Well, because I used to do like once in the morning and once before I went to bed. Those were the 2 times that I took it. And then so now I'm doing once when I wake up, then a little bit at 4:00, and then a little bit before I go to bed. Nice. So it's like just separating. And like my brother, for example, he's like, you do insulin so many times a day, you blah, 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 whatever. Like I would never be able to do that. And it's like, yeah, but it works for me. Yeah. Like what works for me is not what works for you.
Exactly. Whatever works for you.
Exactly. It's like, you're not going to go into a gym and do what the person next to you is doing. You're going to do what you're doing, unless you're following the same training regimen. Yeah. But like,
go at your own pace.
Go at your own pace. Figure out what works for you, and compete with yourself. Yeah, like
I like that. Yeah. What about family and importance? Why do you view family as so important to you?
Because they're all you have, and when I talk about family, I'm not just talking about like my mom and my brother and that. I'm talking about like my chosen family also. Yeah. Like I really see my friends and that circle of people as my family.
The chosen ones.
The chosen ones. They're the people that I, decided are worth my time.
I so agree.
Yeah. Well, actually not worth my time. They're they help me. They get me through all the shit that life throws at you, and they're really, really, really important. I think it's so important to have like a good safety zone, a good net of people who can be there for you, because you know sometimes things happen that like just hit you out of like come out of left field, and there's no way that you can be prepared for them. Like I was telling you, I just lost like my best friend. I'm
sorry about that.
Yeah, it's been like a rough 2 weeks, but you know I have so many people around me and so many people that love me and loved him, that it's not been easy. I would never say that it's been easy, but it's been easier. And you know, he was diagnosed with cancer 5 years ago and has been in and out of remission pretty much ever since. And then he was doing better. He'd done like stem cell treatments the last time, which would have been in like in the fall. And then he sort of like, things were going well, and then they found something else. The tumor was still there. There was still something. And he started doing like preliminary chemo treatments again. And then they decided they were going to go down to Houston, Texas, to do like a trial treatment of sorts that isn't available here. Where they basically like, they try to get the tumor from the inside out as opposed to going from the outside in.
Oh my God.
And he went down there with his family, and they determined that his liver was, it's always the liver.
It's always the liver.
It's always the liver.
Yeah. It's true.
But they realized that his liver wasn't strong enough to go through with the treatment, so they sent him back to Montreal with the hopes of like him going through some chemo here and getting better and getting his liver back in check, and then going back down to fix it. And then when he got back here, his situation just deteriorated even more, and he passed away last Thursday. So
I'm sorry to hear that.
And you know, like, he'd been in palliative care for almost a week prior to that, so like no matter how prepared you are, like we knew it was going to happen. We knew it was coming.
It's still such a hard hit.
It's such a hard hit, and you watch these people, and you have, and it's been really difficult for me over the course of this because of social media. This is somebody that I met in theater school, and we weren't super close in theater. We were kind of like I always loved him, and we were like more than that. Like we were friends, but like, you know, he wouldn't come over to my house every day.
Okay.
And just a really smart guy, just like he is and will always be. Like he wanted to be a teacher. He was a great actor. He was just like a wonderful human being, and like he had so many opinions and arguments, and like every time he would come over, so I didn't know him very well in theater school, and then I knew him, but we weren't like tight.
Yeah.
We weren't homies. And then I started dating Luca, my partner, in third year, and have been ever since. And Luca was very close with him, and so what happened? So me and Luca moved in together just over 3 years ago now.
Okay.
And when we were where we moved to was like right around the corner from his place, so he was like basically our neighbor. His house was 6 minutes from ours, and because of Luca's friendship with him, he was always over at our house. Like we played board games like constantly.
That connects people
so much, and also like destroys friendships.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
We didn't talk for like a week over a Monopoly game.
That happens.
But like, so we started with Monopoly, which got real bad. Like Monopoly brings out the worst in people. Mm-hmm. And then after that incident, we were like, maybe we should stop with Monopoly. So we started playing Risk, which
that's 10 times worse than Monopoly.
Even like, what were we thinking?
No.
So we start playing Risk, and it was good. And then like there was always sort of somebody else also who would come in. So it was like the three of us, and then like one other person would come. The mediator.
Yeah.
So like
that's needed.
he would come in, and we had this one guy for a while, and like we play Risk, and then it got like this. The mediator who was supposed to be the mediator he's a Taurus. So like I'm a Taurus, he's a Taurus. Not a good time. Just like so hard-headed,
yeah,
and like,
of course.
like I love him. I love this guy. He's great. He's actually.
But y'all are like,
but yeah,
rhinos. What are you? What are these things called? Your bulls.
You have your horns.
Your bull.
The bullhorn. Your bullhorn. Yeah.
Taurus.
So just like.
But you had said that it's hard because of social media now.
Yeah. So we became super, super, super close. Like he was at our house. Like almost every day, and not always just playing board games. Like he'd come over and we'd argue about things, and he'd do all this stuff. And when he passed away, I'd been talking to his brother like 2 days before, just about like what was going on. And then I was at work. On the Friday. It happened Valentine's Day at night, and I was at work on Friday. And the whole week I'd kind of been like prepping myself, and I was working like a 9 to 5, and I went into the back to change. I played like a Spotify playlist on my phone, and I went back to change the playlist, and I had like 2 messages from 2 separate friends that I knew in theater school saying, I'm so sorry for your loss. And I was like, what happened? Like, I knew what happened, but I was like, what happened?
Yeah.
And I started like,
that's the worst.
Freaking out and like going through and I didn't have it anywhere on Facebook. I didn't have it anywhere. I didn't have anything. But it was like a friend of somebody else who had like posted this, and like none of the family had posted anything. It had just sort of like gotten out somehow. And then all of a sudden, all of these people who had known him but like weren't
not
close
really,
with him,
yeah,
start posting about how wonderful he was and like all of these things. And like as somebody who was so close to him, it just ripped my heart out every time I saw it, especially because like the family hadn't posted anything.
Yeah.
Like if I can learn anything from this experience, is like don't post until at least the family's posted, because then you have situations like I found out my best friend died through a text message from an acquaintance.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I'm not mad at them. Like, I'm so thankful that I have friends who reach out when they know that I need it. And also like all the people who posted, it's like about him and about his life. Like everybody's entitled to their grief, everybody's entitled to that, but it's just you need to be so sensitive and so aware and so careful of what you post. And you need to be aware that although you may be grieving, there are so many other people who might have been closer to him, who might have, or even if they weren't closer to him, they don't need to find out that way.
Mm-hmm. I think it's really difficult. I think it has to do with like censorship and how social media is no longer like a posting place. Okay, this is what I mean. I think social media is no longer just a place to play. Mm-hmm. It is the place to live.
Yeah.
So I think it's hard for people to look at social media as a game. It's real life now. So like the only way that they can ever commemorate this person's life is through their fingers, because they'll never see the family. They'll never see closer friends to the person. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's almost impossible to say hold back on posting, because this is real life. This is real life. This is almost like saying like, I am so sorry for your loss, and that's a natural reaction. So social media, I feel like it's evolving to this place where it has to happen. That's that's the form of communicating today. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which I don't think that's a bad thing. I just think it's kind of taking a bit of the humanity out of it. And as people who grew up initially without it, like we need to learn how to adapt and how to change, but like I'm not there yet, especially. I know.
And I'm coming from a place where I found out through an acquaintance that my dad died. that was insane. I got a text message being like, I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Oh my God.
And then like heard that my dad was killed on the side of the road.
Yeah.
So I totally understand.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. I've like lived that exact experience. But I understand too that social media is the future and that it is the new humanity.
Yeah.
So like,
but does that scare you?
No. It doesn't. It actually, it excites me because I think connection is the most important thing humanity can have. But connection.
Like, are you, because there's so many different types of connection, right? Like,
well, for instance, you would not be here if it weren't for social media.
That's true. And I respect it for that and I like that, but
it can be used for evil.
Well, not necessarily for evil. Like, good intentions can be misguided, I think, is my issue. Because, like, so this friend who initially texted me their condolences, and I appreciated that. But then I called them, and that was so much better already because I was hearing another voice. Yeah. And then later that night, they came to my work where I'd sort of just stayed because I was like, I don't want to be alone right now. Yeah. Like, Luca was in Florida on like a commercial shoot. That was awful also. Like, I had to tell him over like FaceTime that his best friend had passed.
But you had that means.
But I had that means, which was amazing and wonderful. But at the same time, I was like, the only reason I did it, and I didn't wait for him to get home the next day.
You didn't want him to hear from an acquaintance.
Exactly, I wanted him to hear from me.
But do you think that him coming back a week later, wouldn't that be like worse? Like, it had been a week, and then he comes back without, like, let's say in a world where social media doesn't exist, and then he comes back, and then you tell him like a week and a half ago, like, what? Why didn't you tell me? You know?
I don't know.
Really?
Like, he was coming back. So like, I found out on Friday, and he was coming back home on Saturday. So it was like, it was a day.
Okay, a day.
So I didn't have to think about the week thing, but I was like, if I had the opportunity, like, you know, and I can't message him, for example, being like, don't go on social media, because then obviously he's gonna go right on social media. So I don't know. It's a bizarre.
It is.
It's a bizarre world. It's a bizarre thing, because I would so much have rathered. Because then I tell him this, and so he's in Florida. He's doing this commercial shoot, and he's sitting on a beach, surrounded by people that he doesn't really know, that he's known for the past 4 days. Yeah. And I tell him this because I want him to hear it from like a familiar voice, from my voice. I want to make sure that he's okay.
That you can comfort him.
Yeah. And he starts bawling in front of all of these strangers, and I would have so much rathered so much more. I don't know. Yeah. Terrible grammar. Whatever. I would so much more to have just given him a hug. That's all I wanted in that minute. Yeah. Like, I needed to touch him. I needed to feel him. Yeah. And like my friend, so they came to the bar to my work later, and so the initial text message was like, thank you. The phone call was like, I needed this. And then when they came and they gave me a hug, like, that's the moment that I needed. And I find the social media condolences, it's superficial. Yeah. It doesn't have that human connection. And not everybody needs that hug, but I think a lot of people do. Yeah. And I think because it's so easy to put like a heart emoji,
it's almost like disconnected. Yeah. Even though your intention is to connect.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, and I just find it means so much more when somebody says, if you need anything, if you want to talk, if they do it, if you hear their voice, if you hear their voice, it means more than just like
words that anyone can type.
Exactly. I have no memory of that, you know? Like, I don't have, it's just another thing that I'm scrolling through. Yeah. Like, I appreciate it, but it's
a tricky subject.
Different. Mm-hmm. And I just think that obviously it's going to start happening more. Obviously it's already been happening a lot.
It's the future.
But it needs to be. Death is such a taboo subject in our world in North America, and it makes me really, like, it feels strange. Like, so almost 2 years ago now, my grandfather passed away.
Sorry to hear that.
It's been a trip. He did an assisted dying. This was right about the time that became legal. He was an amazing man, and he
Why did he do assisted dying?
right, that's where we are. So he lived in Montreal. He was born in England and came over and had an amazing life, and lived in Montreal for most of his life. But my aunt and uncle live in Vancouver.
Okay.
He flew out to Vancouver to see my aunt and uncle, and on the plane had massive complications. Like he was a much older man, and basically it made it impossible for him to come back. So he spent the last 4 years of his life in Vancouver. And he was a man who, did walking tours at McGill, like taught walking tours about architecture and trees for
That's
his
cool.
entire life, and
That's
was like
cool.
so mobile and like loved to travel and loved to do all of these things. And so the last 4 years of his life were very sedentary,
Okay.
and it was very difficult for him. And then his body just started to shut down, as it does, as bodies do. And he was given like 6 months or something in the end, because everything was shutting down. And he said, you know what, I would so much rather go out now. Also, because of this, we were given 2 weeks after he like made the decision. So it gave us the opportunity to be there with him. So
Yeah.
we got to go there. We got
Yeah.
to say our goodbyes. And instead of being like, oh, is it happening now? No. Oh, is it happening? It was like, no, here's the date that's set. It's going to happen now. That's it.
Oh my God.
And he had such a wonderful support system at that hospital. And
That's a really weird thing. I've never thought about that.
Super bizarre. It was really strange. And it meant that when he passed, I was surrounded by my family, and I got to say the last thing that I wanted to him. I there was never that moment of like, oh, I should have said this. Oh, I should have said
It's like
this.
a sense of closure.
Sense of closure, and it was difficult. But what was the point of this?
Like the social media and being connected, but
Yeah. I like had a point.
No, well, I think that's insane. Doctor-assisted suicide. That's
Yeah.
like.
It's a bizarre thing. It's something that
Why did he decide to do that? Like, did he have a terminal?
Yeah, so it was he had every ailment under the sun.
Okay.
Something about my mom's family, everybody always gets diagnosed with like really horrible things and then lives forever.
Oh my God.
Just like really good genes, so I'm very happy about that. But yeah, so he'd been diagnosed. He'd had his first heart attack, I think, when my brother was born, and then he was diagnosed with cancer when I was born. And then lived for 20 years after both of those things, had several other heart attacks, and was diagnosed with Parkinson's and like all of these things. And it was just kind of like, Gramps,
just go already.
what's going on? But no, but like I would
No.
never, like I still miss him to this. Like he was amazing. He's just one of these people, you meet them once in a lifetime. And he was just incredible, but he was always a man who was very in control of his life, and
That takes strength to like choose to leave,
But it was the way that he needed to go, because you're so in control of your life all the time. You have so much to offer and so much to give, and he just knew. He was like, I don't want to waste away to nothing. I don't want to spend the last 6 months of my life not being able to do any of the things that I wanted. Like, he wasn't able to walk. He wasn't able to he was barely able to feed himself without help. He was constantly like needed to be monitored and helped by other people.
Yeah.
And he loved being in the hospital and spending time with the nurses, and he loved being catered to. Like, don't get me wrong.
How old was he?
91.
91. He lived a good life.
Yeah, he lived an amazing life. He worked in the Air Force. He designed gas stations his entire life. So he came to Canada. He came to New York first off a boat when he was 20 from London, and was just like, I'm gonna make a life for myself. And through various different connections and his time in the military, became an architect. Sort of like got the papers fudged and started designing gas stations his whole life, and sort of devoted himself to people and teaching, and like he was super involved in like Boy Scouts and like
That's cool.
Scout and teaching young people, and like just he had so much life, and he was just
you
like
learned
a
lot
really
from him.
wonderful
He's
person.
living through you.
Exactly. And like every once in a while I'll catch myself doing something, I'll be like, Gramps would have been proud. Yeah.
That's cool.
It was amazing. I was so lucky to know all of my grandparents. You know, I have my Baba left.
Baba.
My Baba.
Is that what you call him?
Yeah.
Baba.
But my grandmother, so it's Ukrainian.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and she's...
Are you Ukrainian?
Yeah, my Guido, who actually...
Guido, what is this?
It's pronounced, it's like Giano or something.
Okay.
But we called him Guido. I called him Guido. My cousin's, if she watches this, she's gonna be like, it's Dodie. Because that family called him Dodie, and then like my other, like, so like the other brother's family called him Loli. So it's just like, he had no idea who he was anymore.
Okay.
But, yeah, he actually, like, this is such a weird story. He passed away 3 months after my other grandfather passed. That was like a really rough year.
Fuck yeah.
Definitely, like, I went into a huge downward spiral after that. Started like, I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't doing anything right. And just like these two men who had been such an enormous part of my life, in their own ways. Like, my Gramps was always the one who was like, you know, going on walking trips with us and like taking us to places, and like we would play crib all the time and like do all these things, and he was amazing. And then my Guido was kind of like the quiet one who showed his love through food. So like, but then if you I got a couple
if you picked his brain,
if you picked his brain, yeah,
he'd give you these like wise one-liners.
Yeah. I remember sitting down with him once, and he just told me all about, like, he'd been a gym teacher, but he did woodworking on the side, and he created the most beautiful things, and like, and it's just sort of like, I love talking to different people and seeing, like, you know, what they do for a living, and how they find their love, and how they find the things,
their meaning.
And he was just, and the thing that my Guido always did was, he loved my Baba so much. Like, up until, in the end, like, he had his first stroke, and then he died of a stroke. But up until the very end, like, he couldn't walk. He was like, he had enormous Parkinson's just like running through his body. And he was not, you know, he was half the man that still all the man that he had been, but looked physically half the man he had been. And he, even the last Valentine's Day that he spent with my Baba, it was like their 53rd or 54th anniversary or something, like wedding anniversary.
Wow.
Yeah, and he bought like 54 red roses for her. Like, I don't know how he managed to do it. I know, and it's stupid, and it's like,
it's not stupid,
commercial consumerism, but whatever. But you know what?
Maybe a little bit.
They're a little bit like,
but still.
And those were like little things that he'd do, and like, it's been so upsetting, like, watching my Baba learn how to live without him, because they were, you know, you spend that much time with somebody, but they were one. And every time that I look at like a monogamous relationship, like, that's what I hope people who strive for monogamy are gonna get, because it was just beautiful. Whether you get married or not, like, just like, if you find that person, like, sharing
your life, your whole eternity with them.
Yeah, because it's just, you know, beautiful. Like, my Baba had never filled a car with gas.
Oh my god!
Because up until the end, my Guido refused to let her do it, and like, not in like a, I'm a man, I'm gonna do it. But it was like,
I will not let you. It's the man's job. I'm doing this for you.
Aww. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And it's just like little things like that, you know, like we just had Valentine's Day, and like, there's all these things like, oh, you need to like do this, and you need to buy this, and you need to, and it's like, no, it's the little things.
The little things.
It's the filling the car up with gas. It's the, you know,
the little note that you leave.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, it's the little memories, you know.
I love that.
Putting extra peanut butter on a cracker because you
it's
know
all
the person
about the
likes
PB.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
For the last 10 minutes, I want to ask you, the 3 questions that I find help a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to hear, your guys' responses. I'm actually implementing them in my life, so I love it. Do you have any life hacks for someone to make their day better?
Oh, geez. Yes.
Take your time.
Trying to put it into like an acronym so that it can be like more useful.
I am all about acronyms.
Or
it could be something small too that you do.
No, wait, I got it. Okay, so it's cubed.
What?
Yeah. Okay. So this is kind of like what I do for generally, like I'll do it if you can do it on like in like everyday things, but usually I do it like if I'm about to start like a huge project or if I'm going to do something or whatever. And it's something that I really need to pay attention to. So I use squared. So it's ERRR, kind of like
ERRR.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like with a British accent.
Yeah, okay.
So E is evaluate, like evaluate what you need to do.
Evaluate, okay.
R is reevaluate. So once you've like started doing something, reevaluate. Like, do you still need the same things that you thought in your initial evaluation? Do you still, are you still going towards the same place? Has anything changed? If it has changed, why has it changed? Is it a positive change or is it a negative change?
Okay.
The second R is relax.
Okay, I love that.
Because like I find when I get into a project, like a lot of times with like my costume design and stuff, I'll start sewing at like 2 p.m. and then it'll be 2 p.m. the next day, and I will not have stopped, and I haven't slept, and I haven't done anything. So I like really need to tell myself, like, you need to sleep, you need to like take a moment, you need to because I've done that. I've done like 24-hour binges where I just like, and then and that ruins my ability to continue working,
to have balance.
And it could be quite unhealthy, and then I'll get sick, and then I won't be able to finish it. I always finish things, and I'll work through the sickness, and it's just like, but also just relax in like your everyday life. And it doesn't need to be like have a bubble bath. It can be like it can be like go to the gym.
Yeah,
like that's
your form of relaxing.
Yeah, whatever you need to do to sort of like have you time. Like relax is kind of like you time. And then the last one is reward. So like once you've accomplished something, reward yourself for it.
That's the best part.
Yeah, like and yes, like finishing it is a reward, but it's like, okay, for like acting, if you go to an audition, give yourself something afterwards. Like that's good job. Like even if you don't think the audition went super well, like you did it.
You did your job.
Good for you. And it doesn't need to be like make it something healthy. Like go for a walk.
Do your eyelashes.
Do something
Pamper
nice.
yourself.
Yeah, and it doesn't need to be like a monetary expense. It can be like literally anything that you wouldn't necessarily do otherwise.
Like I'm thinking buy a huge bag of Dorito chips, but that's
okay. That's okay.
Okay.
Like if that's what you need in that moment, like that's okay. But like acknowledge that it's a reward. Like don't just be like I'm just getting this. It's like no, I did something that I have been working towards that I really want.
Yeah, let's just hope that that's not what you choose to put on a pedestal,
Yeah.
But if you really want that bag of chips, eat the fucking bag of chips.
Eat the fucking bag of chips. Yeah, like
I like that. Cubed.
Cubed.
If you had a superpower, what would it be?
Oh, snap. Why didn't I think... Like, I've watched these podcasts and I didn't think about any of these.
It's okay. I like the on-the-spot thoughts. On-the-spot thoughts.
It would have to be something like... I would want to give people something. And it wouldn't be like make everybody happy, because I don't want to make everybody happy, because you need sadness to find the balance. Like you need balance. But if I had some ability to give people what they need in the moment, like I guess if I was like a really good shrink, psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever, and I could like make the person know exactly what it is they need for their moment, and like give them the power to get it.
That could be a dangerous power. It
could be a super dangerous power.
Yeah, like I need to take this person's life. They just cheated on me.
But that they don't actually need that. See, because that's what they think they need. This is like
what if they need that? What if they're blinded and they're like they come to you,
but they're in the first two stages. They're still in denial and anger. I would give them what they need to get to bargaining.
Okay.
You know, like I would give them what they need to get to the point where they don't need to kill somebody.
Or you would actually know what they truly need.
Yeah.
And you would give them that. So rather than like kill the person who cheated on them, you would actually take away their jealousy, and that would be what they needed.
Because it's like, why are you jealous? Like if somebody's cheated on you, if you know, if
and you give them confidence.
Give them the confidence.
Take away their insecurity. Yeah. That's a good power.
What is it that... And not forever, because like you still need insecurity. Like, but I would take away that emotion for like...
And then they would learn from that moment.
Okay, that's what it would be. I would be able to take away certain things for like...
A split second.
Or like
ultimately,
a day.
to give them self-awareness.
Yeah.
So your power would make people aware.
Woman. Ooh.
I like that. Self-awareness woman.
Yeah.
Saw.
Yeah.
Self-awareness woman. Okay, last question. The most important question.
Oh.
What do you think is the meaning of life?
I knew that was coming.
It's my favorite question of all time.
Do you want the magical answer or the scientific answer?
I want both.
Okay. So the scientific answer is to reproduce and to die.
Just to die?
Reproduce or to die.
To die.
Yeah.
So to be born and then to be dead.
To repopulate the...
Just to continue
the
human race.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the magical answer?
To be happy. You know, to live, to love, to experience things. To just the pursuit of happiness, I think, is the meaning of life.
The pursuit of happiness, but not happiness.
No, because I don't think... Unless you're pursuing something, unless you're working towards something, I don't think you can be happy.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe, you know, finding the happiness is, your life can end at that point. But like, I don't know. I think.
But then it means that there's an end goal.
But I don't think there is an end goal. Like, I think you should. Like, I don't strive for happiness. Like, I like being happy.
Yeah.
And I am happy in my life.
Little doses of happiness throughout the day
are great, but I also like, I don't like revel in my sadness, but like I like my sadness, and I appreciate...
It gives you perspective.
Yeah, it gives me perspective, and I don't think... So I like living. I like, you know, and I think that's the meaning of life, is to find the thing that you like and to just do it. You know, just do it.
Just do it.
Nike.
Just do it.
Oh, God.
That's it, girl.
Yeah.
Do you have any closing thoughts?
I don't know. Yeah, like, just keep killing it.
Just keep killing it. Just keep doing it.
Keep doing it. Like, live your life. Be happy.
I like it.
Yeah.
Let's,
Yes, I did that right.
Peace!
Peace.